Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you a super cool thing. Without further ado, let me just get started because I'm super excited to show this to you. Click here, click on this demo and you see your web chat just popping over for your users. All that experience which was sitting on the right hand side now comes front and center for your users to see. Let's quickly input a message. I have a very simple, it just writes a story about any city that you give it. It writes a simple 2-line story, and as you can see, the response comes in the same streaming format that all your users are accustomed to while using AI agents. And this is the beauty of it. Again, I'm going to go into each one of these steps. So let's get started how you can get this new feature by Voiceflow called Web Chat version 3 right now. Let's come back to our Voiceflow window, and the first thing that you have to go back is come to integration tab on the left hand side. Just click on integration and you will start seeing these things. There are two options available here, legacy and new. The new one is where all our beautiful game is going to, and obviously the new one is where all the beautiful stuff is going to get happen. Now again, if you are going to implement this, I'm going to show you how you can actually add it to a website without changing a lot of things. Let's get started and showcase what options are available. First, let's start with the interface part. What way you want to integrate your agent, you can select it from here. I have the popover thing selected, which is this format where the agent pops out. If I could just show you this again, click here and it pops out right there in the center. It creates a much better experience because when they are using an agent, they get it right front and center. They don't have to wait for something else, or they don't have to see on a different side of the screen. It takes the center stage of your user's experience, so you can modify it accordingly. Now that's one. Obviously the widget is the simple one where you already have this basic format that you had, always on the right hand side, right? And then obviously we have the embed one where you can embed the agent in your HTML page. So let's come here. Now again, obviously you can switch this to left or right. I like the right thing much better. You can allow the users to either use a voice input or not. We are just not going to use this for this particular agent, but you can build some super cool voice features with Voiceflow. One of my favorite things, love the font that they have input, but I have a preference and it's called Poppins. If you don't know Poppins, or if you want to choose any other font, you can click here, go to Google Fonts, and I love that they have already built the link there. Just like, small user experience things that really take your heart away. You can choose any font, so I can choose Poppins and then very simply input that right there. Now, in case of Poppins, let's say you don't like, you can obviously choose like thousands of Google fonts that are available here. So let's go crazy and choose something I would have never choose. I don't sort by newest. Let's choose a new font. I don't like any of them, but I'm just going to pick one. I just have to pick one. So again, I'm going to choose, instead of Poppins, Oswald. As you can see, this starts getting rendered in Poppins. And one of the best things that they have done is that you can test the agent with all the changes right here. For testing purposes, I can just use this particular thing. But let's say I go ahead and change the font to Oswald. You don't even have to input anything other than the name of the font. And once you do that, give it a second and you get it in Oswald. Now again, I don't like this font at all, so I'm just going to choose my favorite font, which is the most cliché one, and it's called Poppins. And you can see it looks much better. This just improves the user experience so much because you have a different font available for you. Now, one thing that you can see is there are a lot of colors available here, right? So you don't have to worry about that. The best thing that they have done, and let me just quickly show this to you, right? So if you see, my website is green, right? So why the hell does my agent has a gray color, right? So I'm just going to take the same green color and just come back here, put it at the hex code. Right now, again, you can do all the beautiful things with the color selector. Just input this, and as you can see, everything changes automatically. Once you set a color, you can play around with the colors. There are again, unlimited amount of colors that you can choose from. So we do that. I'm just going to choose the color, and as you can see, the demo itself changes. There are things that will be visible within the agent itself, and we can do that. Now again, all these colors change based on different things. For example, the button on the top, the colors mean different things, and that's something that you might see in the future where they name which color is for what purposes. But let's say the buttons are this, and then you can change these colors. It looks really good. I probably want a bit darker color so that it does not matches the same website color and it has a different tone. Let's say we want to see these changes on our agent here. I can just go ahead, come back here, go to any workflow and publish my content. So if you see right now, as soon as this gets published, it will start reflecting the changes in our live agent. That's pretty cool. You are making some changes, maybe testing some stuff out, and you don't have to worry about if it will get reflected to the user. It will only get reflected once you publish. So refresh this, and here, voila, you start seeing a much better agent. The best thing is that this agent looks so cool with Poppins font, and given that I don't have to do anything to change the font, I'll not have to worry about how this is going to look, and it just makes my day super happier. And the best thing is, let me show this to you. Close attention here. we can see the streaming responses are very good, right? They look very clean. It's not just an abrupt blurb of text. It's also not like everything is coming together. They've done a really good job of the words that are coming exactly from a model to showcase them in a very beautiful form. Let me quickly show you how these images differ. Let's click on this and select another image here. I'm just going to choose something that I had for my own usage. As you can see, the image gets loaded here. Now, this is the header image that changes, right? This is the image which will start reflecting once I open the agent, and you can see the Elden Ring there. Now, obviously, technically, I would suggest that all these images should be same, but let's say if you want to see different images on how they look, I can just upload the image and showcase that to you. Now again, obviously, as you can see there, we have an image here, and we can obviously change every image. The best thing is that you can see which image you are changing, so you don't have to remember what does a header image mean, what does an agent image mean, and it is pretty simple. And another thing I really like is if you're watching this video and you need help with AI, there is a link down in the description which you can book a call with me, and I'll love to help you. But let's say this. So instead of this, I want to say book a call, right? And instead of this, bring AI to your business, I just want to say we build AI agents. I can just type that in and then see this again reflecting here. Now obviously I can change all the images, right? So let's say if I put the Elden Ring image again, and then again, as you can see, it will start showing in a second. Yep. And then you can see it is the same image. Now technically I would say, just from a user experience perspective, keep the images same unless you want a different variation of the image or something like that based on your brand guidelines. Now one more thing that they have recommended is that have a 1:1 image. Now this is specifically when you want this chat image to change. So I'm not going to change this. I just love that image. And then second thing is I can just move it to a text. So in case you don't want it to be an image with a text, you can choose all the options. So if I can see on the right hand side, you can switch this between the banners. You have this here, you have this here. So you can have with an image, just the image, or just a text. So again, depending on your use case, if it's like, completely internal facing agent, you might want to change it a bit. You might want to have separate images and something like that. So again, focus on that. Now, one of my favorite features, like literally, again, there are so many of them, but is the placeholder text. This is such a unique feature that they have thought of implementing. It's like changing the wordings in this message box, because a lot of the times it's not a message, right? It's not the agent that is a message. It's something else. It's something maybe you want to input, like for example, I might want to say, how can I help you, right? Or write your query. A lot of these agents help people answer queries. So if I want to do that, it now just is like a small iteration, literally a small iteration on how the agent just improves the user experience. If they are looking at it and they're looking at first time, they know, okay, just write your query, right? They don't need a lot of instructions to use that. And that, I believe, is like just a small experience change, but also very impactful. Now, coming to the AI disclaimer, this is also something that I really like. As you can see, you see this disclaimer here. Now, I would probably suggest this, that I am not going to use this a lot. I can just say maybe disclaimer is off, right, because of the agent that we are building. But let's say you're building an agent that is going to be used internally within an organization. And if that's the case, you might want to come here and say, this is generated by AI. Please be careful and follow organization guidelines. Now, if you want to say that, you can see it shows up here properly. So this is generated by AI. Please follow our guidelines, or whatever you want to mention, right? This is a simple thing, but might be super useful for a lot of people. Even if you are declaring this is an AI agent, just giving that reminder there for users, again, is like, just a better option. Now, obviously, you can switch this on and off, and that's super great. You can just it's a simple toggle. And then obviously footer text, we all know about the footer text that shows up here. You can enable that or not enable that. Or even you can change the wording, and I'll show this to you. So if I input something and then you start seeing this as the footer text. Now, it's great that you can switch on and switch off this, right? The one thing that I can do is I can use the footer text in multiple formats. Instead of just using it as a privacy policy thing or just a footer, I can say, hope you had fun, right? Or you can even say, you can give a feedback link here, right? So I can say feedback and input a URL here. So if I just put google.com right now, you can just click on it, go to another link, right? And that's super cool because you can really use this really well for multiple things. If people want to report feedback, instead of building something within the agent, you have something right there. That is important because the step that was existing is now removed from your agent and is existing within the interface. So everyone is happy. You are happy. The user is happy. Everyone is happy, right? So Again, you can switch on powered by voice to powered by not. If you're building something and they are a great organization doing some super cool stuff, you can display a subtle link. So if you do this, switch on, you can see this powered by Voiceflow thing comes and obviously takes you to the Voiceflow website, but completely up to you as per your requirements. Now, again, I do think we have a pretty good copy of the agent ready. So let's go ahead and actually publish this and then come back and see how to integrate this into your website. So I'm just going to click publish, and then in a second or so, it should get published and show up on my website. As you can see, it shows up and then a quick refresh and it's available. I can put tally and then we'll start seeing how the response looks like. You have so many options to modify this content and text. You can really go ahead and do that. One more thing to remember is that if you want to switch this off from popover to a widget function, it's a very simple switchover. I'm just going to click on widget, then go ahead and publish this. In a couple of seconds, it will start showing up just as a widget. So right now it's coming as a popover, and if I quickly, once I refresh this, it should now open up on the right hand side. So all the previous functionality is there, it just looks better. You have more integrations available. You can use it in a popover format, which I do believe that it's something that you should prefer if you're building native AI experiences, right? Because it sets your agent right in the front and then just keep building on top of that. Now let's come back to the last part, which is super interesting and super easy also to do, because again, they've done a decent job at it, is something on how do you integrate this into your agent, right? Now, first things first, all the agents are going to move to the new web chat v3 by 15th of April, right? So you have to do this migration in the next 3 months. Integrating is super simple. You can just go ahead and copy and paste this into the code, copy this and paste it in the agent. I already have it here. It should just be as simple as pasting it, and it does not change anything because I already had the agent. That's all you have to do to integrate your new widget into all your websites. Again, it's the same logic, everything stays the same. One thing that I have to tell you is that if you have a lot of agents and changes that you have to do, there is a small line here which is just being changed. So in the v.src file, to get the new agent, you can just go to widget-next. If you have multiple agents, you can just go to widget-next. So if you see the legacy code, this is how the legacy code looks. They have just added a next file, so it's easier to even add it by just inputting a text. So that's something that you can 110% do. Now, all this has to happen. You have to migrate all of these things, but I'm telling you, like, every one of your agents that you've built for your customers, for yourself or anything else, they're going to love it, right? This looks amazing. Just to give you an example of how difficult this was to do, let me show you this. This is a video that I did long back where how you can integrate and change your agent styles using this style sheet. You have to write a huge amount of CSS and then work on it. It's difficult. It's not impossible. It's still one of my most watched videos on Voiceflow around how to make your UI look beautiful. They have made it super simple. Some things might be here and there which you might want to change. You can still use the style sheet. There's a video linked here which you can use it. But this is really, really a beautiful way on integrating your agents and making them super beautiful. So go ahead and use it, and please like, share and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.